Jai Janendra.
Jai Janendra.
Manish, video is off. Jai Janendra, everyone. On behalf of Jaina, I would like to welcome you all. I would like to introduce Dilip Shah, who is our China past president and current committee chair of Overseas Relations Committee. So Dilip Uncle will introduce our speaker today. Thank you. Dilip Uncle.
Jai Janendra. Welcome to Jaina's Lakshan lectures presented by Manish Modi of Mumbai. Manish Bhai is so well versed in languages. His knowledge of Sanskrit and Prakrit, along with very, very good English, has helped him to translate almost 70 different Jain works into English. This is a great, great gift to Jain Samaj that such our precious granths written in ancient languages could be brought to the public in a very, very refined, lucid English. We are proud of Manish Bhai. So here we have Manish Bhai. Jai Janendra.
Jai Janendra. Thank you. Namo Aryantadam, Namo Siddhadam, Namo Airiyadam, Namo Uvachayadam, Namo Loe Sabbasahudam. Eso Panch Namo Yaro, Sabva Pava Papanasano, Mangaladam Chasabvesan, Padmam Mangalakana. Khame me Sabva Jive, Sabve Jiva Kamantume, Mitti me Sabva Bhuvesu, Veram Macham Takina. Mangalam Bhagavan Viro, Mangalam Gautama Prabhu, Mangalam Kundu Kundadyo, Jaina Dharmostu Mangalam, Arihanta Mangalam Nityam, Siddha Jagati Mangalam, Mangalam Sadhave Sarve, Jaina Dharmostu Mangalam, Sarva Mangala Mangalam, Sarva Kalyana Karakam, Pradhanam Sarva Dharmanam, Jainam Jaitu Shasanam, Jainam Jaitu Shasanam. Jainam Jaitu Shasanam. Welcome to the Digambar Jain Parishan, and I hope you're all having a wonderful time in sadhana. When I was much younger, we used to love the Parishan Parv because it was a very special time. It generally coincides with Ganapati, so there was this very strong external distraction. And at the same time, it was a very blissful time for us. It was very special. You went to the temple twice a day. Morning mein pravachan hote the, Tatvat Sutra ke. Evening mein he had on the 10 Lakshan Dharma, and each day a different Lakshan of the Dharma was explained. Mind you, 10 Lakshan of the Dharma, not the Parv. The Parv is called Parishan Parv. Dharma ke 10 Lakshan hote hain. And the name of the Parv, if you look at all the Shastras, is Parishan Parv. The Digambar Parishan Parv comes exactly after the Shwetambar Parishan Parv. It starts on the 5th of the month and ends on the 14th of the month. So there is from Panchami to Chaturdashi. And of course, the joke is that on the 4th of the month, you call it Dhasan Chauth because you eat. Because you eat, Parishan, we're going to eat less food. You're going to have restricted food. So on the 4th is you eat as much as you can and eat whatever you like. Trust me, it's not the right way to follow Parishan. Parishan is not meant to be followed in that manner. Parishan means actually living the life that you should be living 24/7, 365. And we were children, we didn't know much. But as we've grown older, last 4 or 5 years especially, my wife and I and my son also, we try to lead every day as we're living in Paryushan. I normally practice Vyasana 365 days. And we try to lead life in such a manner that every day is Paryushan Parv for us. And you make certain adjustments to your lifestyle, which are quite comfortable and extremely beneficial, spiritually and physically. I cannot underestimate the physical benefits of living life like Paryushan. You get up at a certain time, you eat food within certain hours. Now, of course, science calls it intermittent fasting, but Bhagwan Mahavir always said that you eat before sunset. And now it's fashionable, so you call it intermittent fasting, and it's wonderful. People who are doing it is great. Please understand that Bhagwan Mahavir talked about this 2,500 years ago, 2,600 years ago. So the Jain lifestyle is marvelous, it's wonderful. And as we all know, asrav and bandh, inflow of karmas and bonding of karmas takes place constantly. Every single waking and asleep moment of your life, you're binding karmas and attracting new karmas. Therefore, it makes sense to live each day as you would live the 8 or 10 days of your Paryushan Parv. People talk of Samaik and Pratikraman, and trust me, these are the most important methods of cleansing your soul. We talk of bathing, aap nahate hain, you use water and soap and shampoo and stuff like that. But when are we going to bathe our soul? Atma ki cleansing kab? So when you do Samaik and Pratikraman and take a Pratyakhyan, you are cleansing your soul. You're bathing your soul. In fact, as you know, our sadhus, they never bathe the body. But they are constantly bathing the soul by remaining in Samaik, by doing Pratikraman, by taking Pratyakhyan. Because that's the method. There are several Samaiks and Pratyakhyan which are long in Prakrit, some in Gujarati, some in Hindi. There's a beautiful short Samaik in very simple Sanskrit, written by Acharya Amit Gati Suri, who lived in the 10th or 11th century. Most likely in the regions of Maharashtra and Karnataka. He was certainly from Western India. So here's a beautiful Samaik. I'll start today's pravachan with this Samaik. It's a Laghu Samaik part by Acharya Amit Gati Suri. Laghu Samaik part, a brief recitation for equanimity. Worshipping the promulgators of the true paths, the jinas, worshipping the promulgators of the true paths, the jinas, forever I bow in obeisance to the siddhas to attain purity and the imperishable state of liberation. Bowing to the siddhas who have washed away the blemish of karmas, I commence my period of equanimity. In a place that is quiet and undisturbed, where the seers may congregate to destroy my cycle of transmigration. Restraint towards all creatures, enmity towards none, renouncing all expectations, desires, and complaints. I concentrate my thoughts on my soul. Because of love, hatred, or attachment, I have hurt several living beings. May they forgive me. I too forgive them. Through acts of mind, speech, and body, carried out by me, committed by me, caused to be committed by me, or consented to by me. I have incurred faults in Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, and Samyak Charitra. Enlightened perception, enlightened knowledge, and enlightened conduct. I shun those acts, reproach, and censure myself. I forbear afflictions caused by insects, birds, animals, men, and demigods, and adversities caused by nature. I give up my body, food, and passions in thought, word, and deed. Love, hatred, fear, and grief, rapture, anxiety, and weakness. I abandon all of them in thought, word, and deed. I renounce all pleasures and displeasures. May I always remain equable in equanimity, in life and in death, in profit and in loss, in good fortune or bad fortune, in happiness and in sorrow. I always remain in my soul, in knowledge, perception, and conduct, in penance and self-control, and in stoppage of karmic influence. My soul is one, it is eternal. Knowledge and perception are my distinctive attributes. All other emotions are not mine. They are caused by external substances. The conjunction of external substances is the root cause of the continuation of sorrow. Hence, I give up all such external circumstances, all such external substances with mind, speech, and body. I bow in obeisance to them who remain in perfect and unbroken equanimity and conduct themselves in a manner befitting to win over the bride of liberation. That's mukti. Namo Namah, Namo Namah, Namo Namah. And now we are back to the universal law. The universal law, as you may have seen, is the path of liberation. These laws are nothing but the distilled wisdom of the Tirthankars. We have learned them, and we have to imbibe them. And they will help us reach the zenith of perfection, which is Siddhartha. Siddha means perfect. See, all of us have to become perfect. There is no other way. If we cannot become perfect, what are we doing? What is the purpose of our life? The purpose of our life is to attain this perfection. This perfection shown by the Tirthankars. And if we cannot attain this perfection, then our life is wasted. Can you imagine the jackpot, the kind of luck it takes to move on from Nigodh into an Ekendriya Jeev? One sensed being to a two-sensed being, from a two-sensed being to three-sensed being, from three-sensed being to a four-sensed being, from a four-sensed being to a five-sensed being, from a five-sensed being to a human being. And to be born in the Arya Kshetra, in Jain Dharma, and to be exposed to the beautiful, beautiful teachings of the Tirthankars. How fortunate are we? How incredibly fortunate. If after attaining all of this, even after listening to the Tirthankars' Vani, if we don't follow the Vani, if we don't follow the teachings of the Tirthankars, then what are we doing? What have we achieved? Can you imagine the colossal loss? The Anant Kal, the endless time. It is impossible to describe the magnitude of time that we have been around. It is eternal. And all this time, if you have not attained moksha, you're living in sorrow. You're living in grief, in agony, anguish. Your life is full of complaints and desires, unfulfilled desires, complaints, constant complaints, envy, hatred, anger, arrogance, avarice, artifice, greed. You're suffering. The only way to find eternal happiness is by walking in the footsteps of the Jinnas, following their teachings, and finding the happiness that the Tirthankars want us to have. The Tirthankars they're the ford makers. Tirth is the bridge, They are the builders of bridge. They have built the bridge from sansar to moksha. And they have crossed the bridge and they have shown us the path. That here, you are here in sansar, in sorrow, and here is moksha, happiness, eternal bliss. And this is the bridge. This bridge is called dharma. You walk across the bridge and you attain eternal happiness. That's all there is to it. But we have to walk that bridge. And when we talk about the universal law, it is telling us how to walk that bridge. It is enabling us to walk the bridge. Therefore, the universal law. Universal law is the universal operating system. It is applicable to everyone, not just to Jains or Hindus or Indians or Africans or Asians. It's applicable to all the living beings in the universe. It has been compiled by C.A. Jayeshbhai Sheth, and it can be found on a website called www.jayeshsheth.com. So we've done the first few universal laws. I receive what I give, what I give for others comes back to me. I'm the body, the soul is a role that I have been given. Generally, we get the role that we are hankered after. Whatever's happening to me is a mirror of my past. It is a reflection of my past deeds. Therefore, no injustice is ever done to me. So I must live in the no complaint zone. Because whatever's happened is because of me. The why me question does not arise. I create good luck by doing punya, and I create bad luck by committing pap. No one else is doing it for me. I'm doing it for myself. When I indulge in the 7 vices, consume tobacco, alcohol, eating after sunset, eating root vegetables, pickles, honey, figs, butter, etc. Bear in mind, punya equals to gain and pap equals to pain. I have to learn to gain from pain. I am here to give unconditionally without any expectation. By giving, I'm either repaying an old debt or creating a new deposit. In any case, I benefit. I have to perform my duty to the best of my ability without expecting others to do their best. All of us have to fulfill our duty towards friends, family, community, colleagues, society, country, etc. I have to be strict with myself and lenient with others. Whatever happens, happens for good. Believing this will give you super positivity. I have to deal with people in 4 ways: Maitri, Pramod, Karuna, and Madhyas. Yesterday we covered Maitri, which is universal friendship, and we covered Karuna, which is compassion. Today we go on to Maitri and Pramod, which is admiration. Today we go on to the third one, which is Karuna, compassion. I think all of us who've studied in India have studied Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice. We have this incredible monologue that is addressed to the moneylender called Shylock. And I think Portia says it, and she said, mercy is like the rainfall from heaven. It is spontaneous. It doesn't have to be moved. It does not see what part of the ground it is giving rains to. It just gives. Compassion is like that. It is spontaneous. It arises from within you. And there's no discrimination. You don't discriminate between people you're compassionate towards and those who you're not compassionate towards. You're compassionate towards everyone. Because all these are souls which are here to help you. Every person you meet in your life is here to help you. They're all here. And my struggle is not with any human being. My struggle is between my own, between myself and my karmas. There's no third person. Everything that is happening to me is because of my karmas. And when I rid myself of my karmas, I will attain liberation. Anyone else that you're seeing here, anyone else who's a part of your life, is there to help you. Not to harm you. He's there to help you. If he gives you happiness, it's a result of your past punyas. If he gives you some sorrow, it's a result of your past pap karmas. In either way, you thank that person. Thank you. You have benefited. Because he's benefiting you. Merely by being there, he's helping you. He's benefiting you. He's helping you get rid of your karmas. So thank you. So, Karuna. What is Karuna? It is adhyatmik daya. It is the compassion that comes out of spiritual realization. It's not pity. It's a divine kind of mercy. And it is rendered towards all. You practice compassion towards everyone, even those who do not practice any dharma, even those who practice a dharma that is the opposite of yours, even those who do not recognize or the very concept of dharma. Doesn't matter whether they're atheists or theists, whether they practice a religion or not, whether they practice your religion or not. We practice compassion towards everyone. Compassion towards those who are in sorrow, compassion towards those who are happy and pleased, compassion towards everyone. You know, this era that we are born in is called the Hunda Apsarpini Kal. As I explained yesterday, we have the 6 types of Kal. You have the Sukma, which is happiness, you have extreme happiness. Then you have the Sukma, where you have happiness. You have Sukma Dukma, which is happiness plus sorrow, but dominated by happiness. And then you have Dukma Sukma, which is sorrow plus happiness, but dominated by sorrow. And then you have the Dukma Kal, the Kal of sorrow, the era in which we are living. And then you have the Dukma Kal, the 6th Kal, the era of extreme, intense sorrow. Now, not only are we living in the 5th era, the problem is, it's the Hunda of Sarpini, 5th era, which means it's an extremely perverted form of the 5th era. It is extremely painful, extremely horrible, callous, uncaring, brutal. That's the Kal we're living in. It's the Hunda of Sarpini Kal. Because this is the era we are living in, we call it Kala Dosh, and the Jain Dharma itself is not free from it. There are so many shortcomings in society, in our Jain community itself. But should we be angry towards the people who are spreading these wrong ideas and wrong notions and wrong concepts? Or should we feel compassion towards them? See, wrong notions and wrong concepts and wrong ideas of religion will be promoted in this era. That's bound to happen because we are living in the Hunda of Sarpini Kal. This is a Kala Dosha. These things are bound to occur. You can't help it. You can't fix it. We teach the right path. We follow the right path. But beyond that, it's not in our hands. So what do we do? How do we deal with those people whom we know are spreading the wrong paths? Should we beat them up, censure them, yell at them, fight with them? No. we practice compassion. Forgive them because they know not what they do. I think Jesus Christ said that. It's applicable everywhere. It's a universal truth. We have to practice compassion. We realize that each one is acting on the basis of the information that he has, on his faith and belief, on the basis of his inbuilt biases. Maybe he thinks that he's doing the right thing. Therefore, forgive them because they know not what they do. When we start practicing compassion and forgiveness, our own happiness remains undisturbed. It's like, when a child is making a mistake, say, it's all right, it's a child, let it be. Similarly, when people make mistakes and you are right, well, this is the wrong way of promoting dharma. Think of them as innocent children and let them go. Practice compassion. Therefore, you will not be irritated or annoyed, and you will not bind papa karmas by that irritation and annoyance. But when you feel that it's impossible, I cannot practice compassion towards this person, then look within yourself. Are you biased towards any one particular sect, any one particular tradition? Or are you immersed in the teachings of Jainism and say, hey, look, Jainism is one. You follow your path, I'll follow mine. As long as we follow the Tirthankar's path, it's all good. Because then you will be able to practice compassion. And when you're biased towards one tradition that, hey, I was born in this tradition, therefore this is correct. Je saru e maru. Then it's very likely you will be annoyed by those who are not following that path and are following a different path, a different sect, a different methodology. And that annoyance will harm your soul. The hatred that you feel for those who are not following the path that you're following, the hatred, the condescension, that sense of absolute contempt that you feel for those who are not following your paths, that contempt will harm you and harm your soul. Therefore, if you wish to walk on the path of Adhyatma, on the path of liberation, the path of enlightenment, please do not practice such contempt or hatred or condescension. It will harm you. Accept people, accept the fact that they have a right to choose for themselves. Allow them, please give them this leeway. Don't insist that your path is the only right path. Because the only person you will harm with that approach is yourself by the karmas that you bind. Therefore, what must you do? You must remain in the madhyastha bhav, in the bhav of detachment, in the bhav of indifference or no response. When someone hurts you, when someone hurts me, I shall stay calm, keep quiet and contemplate upon thank you, welcome inside my heart. This protects my happiness. If you don't do this, you will be living in a state of constant turmoil. Now, when we have already realized that all living beings are my friends, when I practice universal Maitri, everyone's my friend, everyone's my mate. Therefore, why should I hate anyone? You might say that, hey, yes, I love people, but there are some people who are harming me. What do I do? They are my enemies and my opponents. Well, if you feel that way, don't hate them. Even if you think of them as your enemies and your opponents, don't hate them. Practice upeksha. Ignore them. Remain neutral, remain detached. Madhyastha bhav. Detachment. And practice thank you, welcome with them. Because if you don't, you're binding karmas. And where does the soul go which has bound karmas? In sansar. If we want moksha, we don't bind more karmas. We have already bound enough, more than enough karmas. Why do we wish to bind more? Here once again, question yourself. Are you attached and biased towards your own tradition? Or are you detached? Because if you're biased towards your sect, your tradition, your community, your particular method of prayer, your particular method of worship, it's impossible to be detached. Impossible. Because you're going to do this us versus them. This is my path, this is their path. And when you do us versus them, you're binding karmas. Because them will never be appropriate enough, it will never be right enough. They'll never be good enough for you. You can never be equanimous towards them, because they'll always be your opponent. You might be detached and practice equanimity towards those who come from your own tradition, from within your tradition. But from those who come from a different sect, a different tradition, you will end up feeling condescension, contempt, hatred, dislike, or just have a low opinion of them. And this is going to harm you, not them. Over the years, all our lives, we have always tried to fight sorrow. We've tried to fight grievous circumstances. We have never learned to accept them. Accept it. Accept whatever comes to you. It's a result of your karmas, right? You accept it. That's the proactive way. We keep reacting with anger, with delusionment, with disappointment, with sorrow. Stop reacting. The proactive way is to be detached. And when we welcome things that are unpleasant, vicissitudes of life, adversities, when we welcome adversities, that is the highest and best and most positive way of thinking. We can then rise above those adversities. To understand it, you have to understand the method of thank you welcome. And it's important to learn this, practice this, revise this, and contemplate upon this. Initially, when we were taught the thank you welcome method by my Guru Jayesh Bhai, he'd say read it 10 times a day. Because it is counterintuitive. Intuition says someone hits you, retaliate. Retaliate with extreme passion, extreme anger. Retaliate with all your might. That's intuitive, isn't it? You hit me, I hit you back. I hit you back twice as hard. In Hindi, we have a phrase, eat ka jawab patthar. You hit me once, I hit you 10 times to make sure you don't do that to me, right? So when you say thank you, welcome, this is counterintuitive. You're saying, no, I welcome what you've done. Thank you. You have helped me get rid of my karmas. So thank you. To understand this, keep reading it at least 10 times a day. Reflect on it. And you will realize that this is the method of the Tirthankars. Without this method, you would never have attained the peace And peace, like I said, does not come from an artificial sense of forgiveness that you don't feel. You're just saying it for the sake of saying it. That's not going to give you peace. Because inside you're burning with anger and resentment. You're like, boss, इस बार छोड़ दिया. अगली बार बताता हूँ तुझे. फिर से करके बता, I will show you. This I will show you business. This has helped us perpetuate sansar. We live in sansar for so many thousands and millions and billions and trillions of years because of this desire to show people. I will show you. Tane dekhadi sa, હું શું છું. I will show you who I am. You don't know me. You see so much of road rage, especially if you drive in India. Road rage is constant and common. Bombay, we have such horrible traffic. You don't go above 30, 40 kilometers an hour. Even then, your vehicle may scratch someone else's. And then what do? You get out of your car and you scream at that guy, how dare you do this? You better fix this or I will take you to the police, I will take you to the court, or better still, they start beating each other up. You know, my bookstore is at CP Tank. It's a beautiful place, really beautiful place. My bookstore is in a beautiful old building. It's a heritage building of Bombay. It's called Hira Bagh. It was built in 1905 by the Javeri family, Seth Manichan and Seth Panachan Javeri. Now it's a very crowded area. And this constant traffic, you have cars, buses, scooters, bikes, and haath gadis. Everything vying for the same tiny space and lots of people walking on the streets. So invariably, every day I see there's some scooter crashes into a car crashes into a scooter, two scooters crash against each other, and invariably there are fights. Someone starts beating the other guy up, someone starts yelling, screaming, heaping abuse on the other guy. And I'm like, if it's so crowded, this is bound to happen. Why are you binding more karma? It's touched, move on. All this hatred and anger and marches was not going to help you. But it's our intuitive reaction. Someone hurts you, you hurt them back. So we have to change this intuitive reaction. We have to do something that seems counterintuitive, but that we know that will help us all. So you learn thank you, welcome. And the more you practice thank you, welcome, you'll find that you're at peace with yourself. You're not angry with yourself. You're not angry with the world. And as you go deeper and deeper into your practice, and I can tell this with personal experience, you find that there are times when you don't feel any anger. There's no resentment. In fact, the higher you progress, you find that anger is not even born within you. You simply don't feel it. Because you're practicing thank you, welcome. Whatever's happening, you're practicing thank you, welcome. Because you know it's not in your hands. You know it's a product of karmas. It's like, when you go to the airport. Now you've taken your boarding pass. You're sitting in the right place. If the flight gets delayed, is it your fault? No, it's not. Even though the flight, the pilot and the staff, the air stewardesses, it's not their fault. Are you going to scream at them? No. Similarly, when something unpleasant takes place, scream at anyone. You don't get mad at anyone. You don't get upset at anyone. Why? You practice thank you, welcome. It's not in your hands. It's not in their hands. Why are you practicing hatred? You understand that it's only a result of your own karmas. So thank you, welcome. So again, you will find things that hold you back from practicing thank you, welcome. What are they? Your innate bias towards your sect, maybe towards your tradition, or your own anger your own ego, your own sense of supremacy that, hey, look, I'm superior to you, then you find it difficult to practice thank you better. But when we realize that we've all come from one place, Nigod. And if we don't attend liberation, we're back in Nigod. You're only out for 2000 Sagarupam. After that, you go back to Nigod. So when we've all come from the same place, we all have the same native place, right? People often ask me, Manish bhai, તમે ગુજરાતી છો અને એસે હું ગુજરાતી નથી સાહેબ. તમારું ગામ ક્યાં છે? What's your native place? And I tell them I've come from Nigod. All of us have come from Nigod. And if we don't attain liberation and go to moksha, our destination back to pavilion is Nigod. So just as a batsman comes out from the pavilion, he bats for a few overs and goes back. We've come out of Nigod to bat for a few overs and we'll go back to Nigod. The only way out is to attain moksha. If you don't attain moksha, you're back in Nigod. So when you know that you've come from Nigod, then there's no question of ego. There's no question of greed. There is no reason to hate others. Because we know whatever is happening to us is a result of our own karmas. As I said earlier also, if a postman comes and gives you a legal notice against you, sent by your opponent, will you blame the postman? No. You say, thank you, okay, thank you. Here, where do I need to sign? You sign, you give back the copy to him, acknowledgement to him, and then you will fight your opponent. You will not fight the postman, you will not beat him up. Similarly, when a person harms you in worldly life, he is merely acting upon your own path. He's a nimitta. He's a catalyst. He's only acting as per your own karmas. So therefore, why blame him? And when you start blaming him, you're binding more karmas. So that's how something unpleasant happens. We get angry and upset and blame the person who's caused it. And therefore, we bind more karmas and remain in samsara. Constantly, it's a cycle, it's a vicious cycle that we keep binding karmas and remaining in samsara. We keep binding more and more karma. And then when we have to bear the consequences of that karma, we bind more karmas. The only way out of this is to rise above this, thank the person who has caused you the sorrow, and realize that he is helping you get rid of that consequence. Therefore, thank you and contemplate upon my own past karmas that have caused me to feel this sorrow. What we must think is, I must have done something wrong. Sorry, sorry. Never. I must have done something wrong. I apologize for my mistakes. Sorry, sorry. That's the first step. Step 2. And that first step is your pratikraman. You do pratikraman. That's what Bhagavan has asked us to do. So I apologize for all my mistakes of the past. Pratikraman. Sorry, sorry. And now, step 2, I shall not repeat my mistakes. Never again. Never, never, never again. This is your pratyakhyan, your pachkhan. I shall not repeat those mistakes again. Never again. If I had done something bad, I will not do it again. I will make sure I'm not committing those mistakes again. Then, your third step, I should believe from inside that my opponent has obliged me by cleaning me. So I shall say thank you in my heart. This will ensure that annoyance, irritation does not get triggered and that I do not get trapped in the vicious circle of anger and resentment as they lead to increased anger and hatred. I have to ensure that. So when I believe that my opponent is my upkari, he's helped me out, you thank him, right? You thank him in your heart. So ensure that you don't get annoyed and irritated, because it's a vicious circle. That the anger, resentment leads to more anger, and more resentment leads to more anger and more resentment. It's a vicious circle that binds us deeper and deeper into samsara. It's a quagmire. It's quicksand. Anger is a quicksand. You get stuck in it, you cannot come out. So these 3 steps. First step, sorry. That is your pratikraman. Second step, never again. That's your pratyakhyan, your pachkhan. And the third step is your samay. Thank you, welcome. Because this is how you remain in samta, in samvar, in samayik. These 3 steps are a shield for our happiness and good spirits. Hence, they are a welcome move. Step 1, sorry. Step 2, never again. Step 3, thank you. These 3 steps are a shield for my happiness and good spirits, and they are a welcome move. They will save me from negative thoughts and emotions forever. And they will imbue me with positivity. Therefore, sorry, never again, thank you, welcome. This will help you find peace in life. Because trust me, there are many sources of aggravation. It's never one source, there are multiple sources of aggravation in life. For instance, you see someone doing something wrong and you learn of it. Ari, how can you do that, man? It's such a horrible thing to do. So then you either see it or you read about it or you see it on television or in the social media. Someone did something really bad. How do you respond? You respond by saying, sorry. I must have done something like that in the past, or I would not have witnessed this. Sorry. I shall never commit that mistake again. Never again. And the person who's done the wrong thing is doing you service because he's reminding you of the bad that you have done. So thank him in your mind. Don't go there and thank him. In your mind, you thank him. And you rid yourself of this deed, of the horrible sorrow that this deed causes you. Remember this. This world is a reflection of our own past deeds. Whatever I do is a reflection of my own past deeds. It's coming to me because I did it earlier. There's never a case of something happening when you have not done it yourself. You must have either done it or caused it to be done or did its anumodana. Krit, karit, anumodit. Or you would never see it occurring in front of you. Similarly, when you see someone criticizing dharma, you see someone criticizing monks or nuns, you see someone criticizing a shravaka, you see someone promoting a perverted form of religion, someone promoting ekantavad, what do? You don't go and fight them. In your heart, you say, sorry. I must have done this in the past. It's a reflection of my past, not anyone else's. Next step, never again. Never again should I criticize dharma, criticize monks and nuns, criticize a shravaka, or criticize the perverted promotion of dharma. I must have done it. It's a reflection of my past. Therefore, sorry. Never again. I will never be part of it. And thank you. You thank those people because they've made you aware of the wrong things that are happening. You reflect on your own actions. If I've done this in the past, I apologize. If I'm doing it now, I apologize. And I make sure I take a pratyakhyan that I shall never do this in the past, in future. So you're doing your pratikraman, your pratyakhyan, and you're remaining in samayik. You see someone beating up an animal or a bird or a human being. You say to yourself, sorry, sorry. I must have done this in the past myself. That's how I'm witnessing this. Never again shall I do this. In this life or in future. In the past, I apologize. In the current life and in future, never again. And in your mind, you thank that person by doing something bad. He has reminded you that you have done those bad things. You go back in your past and you do sorry, sorry. You apologize for that. You have to cleanse your soul all the time. All these are opportunities to cleanse your soul. As I said earlier, you have to learn to gain from pain. When we see this, we learn. We go back to our past, apologize for our past actions. And we pledge to never ever repeat that mistake, to never do that thing again. And we resolve to forgive. Similarly, you see someone who's a great sinner. You think, what's wrong with this guy? How can he do this? I often see this. There's this contest, I think, in a North Scandinavian country, either Norway or Finland or Denmark, where they hunt fish and bash them on the head with a hammer. How cruel can that be? How incredibly cruel. You're hunting a fish and bashing it on the head. And you call it a sport? But then, what do? You say, sorry, sorry. If you're seeing it, it means you've done it sometime, you witnessed it sometime in your own past. Hopefully not in this life, in another life. So sorry, sorry. Sorry, sorry. I had done this in my past, whenever I had done it. Sorry, sorry. Never again. I shall never ever be part of this kind of hunting, killing, harassment, cruelty. And that too, the committer of the paap, you thank him, Upkari. He has reminded you that you've done these things because God knows how much clutter we carry, how much karmic clutter we carry. There's so many papas that we must have done in our past. Infinite lives. We have to apologize for all of them, cleanse our soul. We have to do pratikraman for all of that. Therefore, sorry, sorry. Even when we see dirt, filth, we have to not get annoyed and upset by that filth. We have to think, God knows in how many past lives I must have been born in that filth. And if I don't attain Samyak Darshan and attain freedom from this world, God knows how many more times I would be reborn in that filth. Therefore, you say, sorry, sorry for your own papas, that I must have done papas, therefore I was born in such kind of filth. And because I was born, I'm reminded of that by seeing this filth here. You do never again. Sorry, sorry, I must have committed such papas. Never again should I ever commit such pap. And third step, Pratyakyan. Third step is Samayik. We say, I thank you for pointing this out to me. Yes, I must have been born here. I must have done certain papas. Therefore, I resolve to never ever do such papas. Sorry, sorry, never again. Thank you, welcome. That's how you cleanse your soul. There are times you see, when you witness a loss, when you experience a loss, someone has caused you to lose money. Should you be angry with that person? Because the normal reaction is, I'm going to fix that guy. I'm going to fix him in such a manner that he'll never forget me. That's normal reaction. But the universal law says that, sorry, sorry. I must have caused him a loss in the previous life. Therefore, he's causing me a loss. So sorry for my own action of the past that must have caused the other person a loss. Sorry, sorry. I apologize and censure myself for whatever wrong things I have done in the past. Sorry, sorry. You resolve to never, ever, ever again cause a loss to anyone else. never again. Pratikraman, Pratyakyan. And you thank him because he has helped you realize that you've done something wrong in the past. So thank him. Not verbally, not in person, he'll think you're an idiot. But in your mind, with the utmost sincerity, thank him because he's helped you. He's helped you realize that you've committed some paap in the past, and therefore, thank you. And when you realize that he is merely helping you get rid of your paap, you feel gratitude towards him. So welcome. Sorry, sorry, never again. Thank you, welcome. When you deal with circumstances in this manner of sorry, sorry, never again, thank you, welcome, you'll find that you're not upset. You'll find that people are not harming you. You're not annoyed by this world. You're not frustrated. Because everything is an opportunity to overcome your past bad deeds, to apologize for them, and to resolve to not commit them again. So you're constantly living in Pratikraman, Pratyakyan, and Samayik. And that's the right way. When you live in a state of Pratikraman, Pratyakyan, and Samayik, you are living in Samata, in equanimity. And that's exactly what we want. That's exactly what we need to find eternal happiness. That's the marg of the Tirthankars, and that is exactly what the universal law teaches us. These 3 steps of sorry, sorry, never again, thank you, welcome. They are a shield for my happiness and good spirits. If I practice them constantly, I've been in a state of happiness, a state of calmness, a state of joy. So they are a welcome move. They save me from negative thoughts, negative emotions, and they make space for positivity. I will always feel light and relaxed. That, for me, is the true outcome of dharma. If someone tells me that they are practicing dharma, I see whether they're happy or not. Dharma will give you happiness here and in the eternity. If you see someone who's constantly in sorrow, depression, unhappiness, it means he's not really understood dharma. Because dharma gives you happiness in the here and now. Yes, it will give you eternal happiness in future. I'm not denying that. But it gives you happiness here and now. And when you do sorry, sorry, never again, thank you, welcome, you will attain happiness in the here and now, which is the most important thing. You don't have to go to any wellness resort. You don't have to go to any boutique. You don't have to spend an expensive holiday. You get your happiness sitting at home. When you practice thank you, sorry, sorry, never again. You practice this all the time. Someone harms you, practice sorry, sorry, never again, thank you. And you will find that you're at peace. Whatever is happening is a result of your karmas. Therefore, no blaming others, no complaint zone. Live in peace. Live and let live. This is the goal of Bhagwan Mahavir Swami. And we have to inculcate this attitude within ourselves. We do this because Jainism is the path of Sahaj Yoga, not Hatha Yoga. You don't force yourself. You don't force things on others. You do things through realization, through understanding, through a sense of oneness, through a sense of oneness with the soul, realizing that you are nothing but the soul. This body and all its worldly attachments are not you. Therefore, you don't have to be affected by it, by whatever has happened to the body. Yes, you take care of the body. I'm not saying you don't. But remain detached. Because you're not the body. You are the soul. So tomorrow, we will discuss how to further inculcate this attitude of calmness and peacefulness. Until then, please contemplate on the universal law. I think it's been shared by Dhimen. If you want it, you can WhatsApp me or email me. I will send it to you by WhatsApp. If you want physical copies in India, we can arrange that free of cost. And remain in peace. Be blessed, be calm, be well. Jai Jinitra.
Ram. Excellent.